It is a beautiful day here in west central Wisconsin. The sun has finally returned, partially, but we were up to 46 degrees today. So it's very nice out right now in the late afternoon. So with this nice weather, and in combination with the fact that I have a load of wood coming in today, logs coming in, I thought I would just take a little bit of time and get a little bit of this pile separated out and stacked away. What I'm using is my old carryall that I used to have on the back of the tractor. I just put that on, I just take the forks and pick it up, and I kind of just use it as a big bucket that I can just throw the wood into, take it over to my little shelter, and then pull it off and stack it. The other thing I'm doing is like the slash from this pile, I'm just pulling out, and I have a little, one of my old pallet totes that I built a few years ago. I have some wire around the edges so that the scraps and smaller stuff doesn't fall out. So I'm throwing the little scraps and stuff in that thing that I will eventually burn on a upcoming spring or summer Friday night live stream outside. But I wanted to just touch on the last video and thank everyone for all of the great feedback that you guys gave me on what to do with those with the wedge for splitting the smaller pieces of firewood. And there were a lot of great suggestions, things that I didn't even think of. And that's why it's cool to just be able to, I guess, throw stuff out there, like throw ideas out there and get feedback from you guys. It was just like I had a couple suggestions on, instead of using the 4-way first, use the 8-way wedge first and then the 4-way, which was, something that I didn't even think of. So I did come out yesterday in the afternoon after I'd gone through a bunch of the comments, and I did test a few other things. And I actually found, well, I'm going to show you the results of what we got. I'm going to show you what ended up, or I'm going to show you what the finished product looks like, what we ended up with, and then I will tell you which way worked best in order to get that. And I'll just real quick show you, because I do get a lot of questions about the conditions in the wood yard when things start to thaw out and melt. So I do have a little standing water, but for the most part, everything is all wood chips on top of sand. The soil back here in the wood yard is all sand. It's very sandy. So I don't really deal with too much mud. The nice thing about using this carryall bucket is that I can just toss the pieces in there. I find if I use the loader bucket, that the only way to get enough wood in is to actually stack it in the bucket, and then you're kind of like stacking it twice. You're stacking it in the bucket to get enough in, and then coming over to the stack and stacking it. So I kind of like using this carryall, I guess, I don't know, the carryall as a bucket. So some of the combinations that I used in continuing with my testing of what would be the best way to split down that smaller firewood. I tried, like I said, in the video I did the 4-way, then the 8-way. And then I had feedback to do the 8-way first, and then the 4-way. And then there was other people that said try the 6-way. But what I found, and the one thing I forgot to mention in the video, because there was a lot of people saying that I should use a smaller diameter log. And what actually ends up working the best for what this customer wants is a larger diameter log, because with the larger diameter log, you end up with more pieces that don't have any bark. So barkless, bark-free, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to it, the little splits with no bark is like the premium desired outcome. So if I were to use a smaller log through the 8-way, I would get 8 pieces that would probably be close to the size I would want, but those 8 pieces would all contain bark on the outside. So with the larger diameter, I'm able to split those pieces and then have like, well, I had 4 big chunks with bark, and then I was able to like chop those off and keep the bark to a minimum. So I will show you in a bit here what I am talking about. But that's one of the factors that comes into play when dealing with like this custom cut, I guess, specialty wood. So I was just about to grab the camera and head back over to load up again, but just take a look at that stack of wood. Whew! Man, that's looking nice. I'll just hold this right here for a second. If you want to take a quick screenshot of this and maybe make it like the screensaver for your desktop, or the screensaver, the background for your phone. Oh yeah. Now, if you think that wood is looking good stacked up there like that, let me show you what we ended up with for the little custom cut firewood from this weekend. All right, so I had a quick little break in the action there to get a load of logs dropped off. Rick brought, it was all oak on that load, and he's got another load just like it that he will be bringing tomorrow. So wood is coming in to the yard. All right, so now let me show you what we ended up with from the last video with the custom cut little pieces of firewood. All right, so there you go. So you can see some of these pieces. No bark, barkless oak, premium, little sticks, little chunks. And the pieces that did have the bark is actually gone, so it's not too bad. But that's where I was talking about, if I use smaller diameter logs, every single piece would end up with like the bark, or what used to be like the outer layer. The outer skin, I forget what that's called, but so yeah, most of these pieces are all completely barkless and just looking great. That tote right there is exactly what I was looking for. And again, this was the result of running that log through the 8-way, and then again taking those 8 chunks and putting those chunks through the 8-way. In doing that, I ended up with the most pieces that did not need any resplitting. When I used the 4-way or the 6-way in any combination with the 8-way, I ended up with always needing to, like, almost every single chunk needed to be resplit with a hatchet. So there it is. There is the end product that we ended up with our little test from the last video. All right, so once again, I greatly appreciate all the feedback you guys gave me on different combinations, different thoughts of how to end up with those smaller custom cut pieces of firewood. But what ended up actually working out the best was sending it through the 8-way and then taking those chunks and sending them through again. And I'm actually able to line up 4 pieces in the chamber to send through all at once for the resplitting. So it only ends up being 2 cycles to resplit the 8 pieces off of the initial pass. So thanks again. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night.